How one 19-year-old boy became known as the Barefoot Bandit. Every criminal is remembered for their slew of illegal activities, but only a few of them managed to nab catchy nicknames for what they did. Colton Harris Moore probably never grew up with dreams of becoming a felon known as the Barefoot Bandit, but that's the path he ventured down. And his story has enough twists and turns to make anyone's head spin wildly. Colton Harris Moore grew up about 30 miles outside of Seattle, Washington. Looking at him, he seems like an average teenage kid dealing with the pangs of getting older. No one could have predicted that he'd have a rap sheet a mile long. So how exactly did Colton go from a teen kicking back in the woods near his house to a felon convicted of multiple crimes? It all started when he was 12 years old. Up until Colton was 12, he never had any run-ins with the law. That all changed when authorities busted him for possession of stolen property, and not long after, he racked up 3 more convictions. Much of his delinquency, according to court records, was likely due to his mother's neglectful and abusive behavior when he was young. She was a destructive alcoholic who spent most of her time inebriated, and Colton suffered the effects. Colton's illegal antics didn't come without some serious repercussions, even for someone so young. He was eventually sent to a juvenile halfway home, but at age 17, he once again caused a huge ruckus. He wasn't ready to let the center stop his urge to commit crime, so in 2008, he fled. None of the workers suspected anything for several hours after he went missing, which allowed Colton to get quite a jump on authorities. Obviously, it was Colton's safety his mother and the police were worried about, but it soon became clear it was the safety of others that had the authorities concerned. All you had to do was look at security cameras. Colton was captured by dozens of security cameras throughout multiple states, breaking into vehicles and stealing valuables. He always signed the crime scene with a drawing of a bare foot. Not only did he leave the picture of a barefoot behind, he also seemed to rarely wear shoes while committing his crimes. Authorities were determined to catch him. Police, as well as local residents who were instructed to keep their eyes peeled for Colton, labeled him the Barefoot Bandit or the Barefoot Burglar. Signs with his image were posted all over the towns he was spotted in. Incredibly, this young man, who seemed quiet and reserved on the surface, had police all over the country on his heels. In fact, Colton's spree was gaining so much attention, there was even a Facebook group dedicated to him. According to police reports, Colton committed over 70 crimes throughout 8 years, racking up a bill for stolen or damaged property that topped $3 million. However, the whole debacle came crashing down literally 2 years after it began. On July 4, 2010, Colton jumped behind the gears of an empty Cessna 400 at an Indiana airport and took off to the Bahamas. After crash landing the aircraft, he avoided capture for 1 more week. Finally, police nabbed the teen. It wasn't an easy capture, however. Colton stole a boat after finally making his way from the crash site and led police on a high-speed chase until officers tore the engine apart with bullets. Naturally, the arrest hit the news everywhere. Every state in the country was on high alert for the boy. No one knew where he'd end up next, so once that orange jumpsuit was on, people everywhere breathed a huge sigh of relief. But the drama wasn't over yet. The courtroom drama that ensued satisfied most victims. The Barefoot Bandit agreed to a plea deal to serve 6 years in prison starting in 2012. Oddly enough, his wild 2-year stunt also garnered him some Hollywood fame. In 2014, documentary filmmakers debuted Fly Cold Fly, Legend of the Barefoot Bandit, a compilation of interviews as well as graphic novel-style animation fleshing out Colton's crazy story. Colton also had a bizarre request regarding his mother. After his release from prison in 2019, Colton created a GoFundMe page for his mother Pam, who suffered from terminal lung cancer. He needed $230,000 to cryogenically freeze her body in hopes that a cure would one day come around. Despite his criminal history, Colton doesn't want to live in its shadow now that he's free. "What the past 10 to 15 years has really ingrained in me," he said, "is a keen appreciation for not wasting time and moving forward as quickly as possible." If fame was what Colton sought through his crimes, even if unintentional, that's exactly what he got.